Hey everyone, Mark here. Trying to pick the right project and portfolio management tool for Jira can be overwhelming. There are so many powerful options out there, from BigPicture to Structure to Plans and several more. And figuring out which one is the best fit for your team can be a massive challenge. That's why we're starting a new series here on Genius Gecko channel. We're going to dive deep and compare the most powerful Gantt and road mapping tools available. Our goal is to help you cut through the noise, save a ton of time, and make the smartest choice for your organization. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the videos in the series. Let's get started. At Genius Gecko, we talk to project managers and leaders every day. And we know that managing a project is about more than just tasks. It's about getting everyone on the same page, especially when you're supporting different methodologies from classic agile to hybrid approach. We also know the frustration from getting pushback from your teams who don't want to use Jira. And that's a huge problem. You're constantly battling tool adoption and manually patching gaps with external spreadsheets and documents which lead to chaos. We started this company to solve exactly this kind of frustration because we believe our customers deserve better. That's why we often recommend tools like Structure Suite for Jira. And the Structure Suite includes several tools such as Structure, Tempo, Structure.Gantt, and several more. And it's not just an app. It's a way to bring your entire project to life right inside your Jira. You get a dynamic live Gantt chart that helps you stop flying blind and start planning with confidence. Let me show you exactly how it works, but keep in mind that while configuring a simple use case is quick and easy, implementing a PPM tool within your organization is a whole different story, and expert help is strongly recommended. If you're new to Structure, please watch one of the previous videos where I explain what Structure is, why it is important, and what are its most powerful features. So in this video I won't be focusing on Structure itself, but keep in mind that the Structure.Gantt is actually an add-on to the Structure. So the Structure is the core app, and you can install on top of it apps like Gantt, Roadmaps, and several others that integrate with Structure. So installing it's very easy. You just need to click on this install Gantt button or download it from the Atlassian's marketplace. Once it is installed, you will need to do several things to configure, which I also explained in the Structure video. But long story short, Gantt uses several Jira fields to actually visualize data on the timeline. One example would be the starting point and the ending point. So the start date or end date, or the actual start, actual end date, depends what kind of fields you are using in Jira. Also, original estimate is quite an important field because it is used by Structure to estimate the effort, right, and also the workload of your resources. So again, make sure that these fields are added to your issue screens. If you need more guidance on how to do that, you can watch my previous video, how to fix your Jira hierarchy. Alright guys, so to switch between your Structure and Gantt, all you need to do is click on this button in the top right corner. If your Gantt is not installed, you'll get a message and a link to install the app. So it's super easy. So the first thing here is the instant visualization of your work on a timeline. And let me zoom in a little bit here, adjust the timeline slightly. You see that it is already color coded. It indicates the statuses of your work items. So let me adjust the Structure. Again, it works best when you have a list of your issues visible here. So let me just select one of the views where it actually shows me the statuses. Alright, so we have some progress, we have some basic data. Let's switch to tracking. There we go. So as you can see, we have an epic in progress. It's color-coded yellow, while the to-do tasks are color-coded blue. And that's actually one of my favorite features, because within Structure and Structure.Gantt, you can define rules for color coding, for example. And it's not limited to statuses only. You can have different rules based on different criteria, create thresholds and color based on that. very powerful feature, and I have to admit, one of my favorites. So instantly you see all your work, your epics, features, tasks, stories, and so on and so forth on a timeline, and you can start with your high-level planning. So it's very simple. All you need to do is just drag and drop, so you can move your tasks around on the timeline. The parent, in that case the epic or the feature here, will be automatically extended. Same applies to epics, so you can just move your epics and just plan them on the very high level and then break them down, decompose. So already a powerful thing. You can view all your work and view it on a timeline, right? You can also view the dependencies and create dependency using drag and drop. In my case, auto scheduling is enabled, so the linked issues will be also rescheduled based on the dependency used. Now here's an interesting example, because we have a weekend here. So also, as you just saw, Gantt extended the taskbar, right? So it ends on Monday because it had a 1-day duration and is scheduled to be done right after the previous story here. So the bars show you exactly how long the task will take, when it starts, what is the start date, when is the end date. And also here you will see that we have another parameter, which is the already mentioned original estimate. So what does this mean? Have a look at this yellow bar, which I just updated, so that we can see the already mentioned the start date, the end date, but there's another powerful feature here. It shows you the progress, right? So we have the progress calculated to be 50%. So my remaining estimate is 2 days. And let me add the time spent field if it's not added already. Time spent. Probably the time spent is also 2 days. So the formula here takes a look at the remaining and time spent and calculates the progress this way. So we're exactly in the middle, and it is also displayed on the timeline. And of course, you can collapse or group your structure in the side panel here and focus exactly on the area that is of particular interest to you. So again, a very powerful feature, and it just requires a couple of clicks and you see exactly what you want. Whether you want to look at in the micro scale, look at each individual team member or the whole team or the whole epic, the whole project, program, portfolio, all this is doable with just a couple of clicks. So let me disable this filter. I talked a little bit about dependencies, but I think it's a good idea to actually talk a little bit more about it, because when we talk with our clients, some teams define dependencies differently, and they are right, because there are a couple of dependencies here. So you can start with the link, and I have an arrow right here. Let me click on this. I have a potential scheduling config. This task may be delayed for 7 hours. We have an interesting case here when the tool provides warnings and tells you that there's something wrong with your timeline. Have a look, resolve it. What can we do to resolve it? We can respect the link or auto reschedule. So let's auto reschedule, and now this is fixed. But going back to dependency, that's one type of dependency. The other one is the hierarchy itself, right? Because it also, the lower level items affect what's happening at the top. In our case, that would be the save feature. Here, the epic. It might be the whole project. The whole project might affect the whole portfolio, and so on and so forth. So this is where it gets really powerful, and we know that managing dependencies is critical for a smooth project and a huge part of the process transformation we do. Okay, so we talked a little bit about dependencies. I won't be diving that deep into all the different dependency types because there is a lot to talk about here. You can map them to different links within Jira. You can create different types of dependencies, and I think we actually have a dedicated video about it on our channel. If not, if you want to learn more, drop us a comment and I'm sure we'll figure something out. So the next powerful feature that I've already talked about earlier in that video is the progress tracking. So you can see it both on the actual list of your work items as well as on the tasks as soon as you log work. So whenever you estimate the effort needed to complete a task, and then you log work, the progress will be calculated. There are of course different formulas for calculating progress. That's just one of the examples, but again, if you want to learn more, I've talked more about progress calculations in the previous video, how to fix your hierarchy in Jira. There's one more very powerful feature here that I'm sure you love, and to access it, all you need to do is click on this button right here, show resources, and that will show you the resources section. What does this mean? How can you use this feature? So first of all, you'll need to assign work to individual. So as soon as I assign this task, you'll see that my name was added to the resource name table and something appeared in the right hand side. So these bars indicate the workload. I already see a conflict for Anna that is allocated 15 hours in a single day, while her capacity is 8 hours. So we have a conflict that needs to be resolved. And how you can do that? Well, all you need to do here is to find tasks that are actually assigned to Anna. Let me try to do that. For example, this one, and move it, assuming of course this is the correct one. So I already partially fixed one of the tasks, the other one. Now the conflict is resolved and I see that she's almost fully allocated with work. It's almost equal her capacity, so she's fully utilized. You might be wondering, okay, that's great, but what if I work part-time? Or what if there are non-working days? Well, there is the resource setting option here, where you can define the properties, and units here actually allow you to represent multiple resources using a single account. Very useful feature. And you can set the availability and capacity, control the capacity using different periods, right? So within 1 month you can be allocated 50% of your time to one team. Then when this team needs some more support, you can change that to 70, 80, 100%. You get the idea. So this also gives you quite a lot of flexibility when it comes to planning and managing your team. There are several other features which I won't be diving deep in this video. I'll just walk you through them real quick. You can create baselines. Baselines are reference points that show you the initial position of your tasks on the timeline, so you can compare the actual and the initial position of your work, check for delays. Structure can also calculate the difference between the actual end date and the initial end date, so that's a very good metric to use to check whether you are on track with your projects and what are the delays. There is also the settings button here. So again, I won't be diving deep into this section. There's the integration with Planner. I will talk about it in a separate video. There is auto scheduling. You can use the scheduling to use time tracking, not to disable it. Decide what fields of time tracking you want to use, whether it is the remaining estimate or the original estimate. Remaining estimate is great in Agile when you don't really know how long work is gonna take, so you rely on the remaining rather than the original estimate. You can convert hours into story points. You can use custom estimates, story points or formula or your custom fields. Change the mapping, define the precision, change the behavior, and also change the appearance. And that's something I mentioned earlier. I really love this feature. You can color code your tasks, define the rules for color coding. It's really great. Dependencies I also mentioned, so you can add the link type. You can adjust the timeline, right? So whether you start in January or what is your fiscal year and so on and so forth. And also in case of resource management, whether you're using Structure to manage teams or individual team members, select the units and leveling properties. You can also import settings. One last thing I wanted to mention when it comes to Gantt, here you can also adjust the timeline, so whether you plan in hours, weeks or days, and especially the hours, this is something that you don't often see in other tools, so great for Structure, because I know that a lot of you guys really have tight schedules and want to plan with this granularity. So this is something that not all other tools that we work with, for example BigPicture, that doesn't have this feature, and that's definitely something to consider. It also supports Agile and Scaled Agile. One more thing here, it can also auto level your resources. So this is another thing that you don't really see that often, and we'll probably have a separate video to explore this powerful feature, especially that other tools don't have that. Alright, so let's run it. And as you can see, Structure can automatically adjust your timeline, taking into account all the conflicts and leveling the workload of your resources. Now, this video is just a start. If you want to learn more how to do proper PPM, I've got a couple of options for you. First, you can check out other Structure videos available on our channel. Second, if you want to learn more about PPM best practices and other tools, also check out our channel, but we also have a completely free training on one of the most popular PPM tools for Jira called BigPicture. You will find a link on our website. It's the perfect way for you to get started and understand our approach to delivering value. Just visit our website and sign in for this free training. And finally, if you're ready to stop guessing and get a custom built PPM solution for your team, one that includes best tools, processes and training, you can visit our website at geniusgecko.com and book a free 1-hour consultation. We'd love to talk to you. Thanks for watching. If you found it helpful, give us a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.